Okay, here we are, everyone. Magical coffee hour, Sunday evening. How is everyone doing? Looks like we already got 7 people sitting here. Awesome. Also, be sure to hit the like button too. Helps out the channel a lot if you're here. Hope everyone has had a great weekend. And as always, let me know you can hear me. Say hi in there because I don't have any way to get the sound to feedback on me. I still got to figure that out somehow. Andrew, man, good to see you up in here. Make sure to have a fresh pot of coffee up and going. Can't have magical coffee hour without the coffee, can we? Hey, Jacob, good to see you. Cloud, welcome back. Good to see you, man. Dennis, hey, man, good to see you. You managing to catch this one at home or are you at work again? I know you've been busy. All right, let's see. Noctis, good to see you. You've been here waiting for a while. Halloween, good to see you around. We've missed you. All right. So hopefully y'all brought some good questions and everything tonight. Hey, Mathilda, good to see you. Welcome. I'm already needing a refill on my coffee. Oh, that's good. That is good. Good evening, Elizabeth. Wow, we got a full house up in here tonight. We really do. Hey, Peachy, good to see you. Welcome. Good to know you didn't miss it. Okay, so yes, the questions, I have been accused of missing a few here and there lately. So just so you all do know, yes, the stream is getting more active, and therefore it's harder to keep up with all the questions. But we do have super chat, so you are welcome to leave a super chat. It's like $1 or something, quick donation. It'll make sure it staples it to the chat to make sure I see it. If you feel I've missed your question or overlooked it, or if you just want to donate to the channel so that we can continue making the videos and getting out the information. Wow. Midnight, hello, good to see you. Cara, welcome. I think I already said hi to you, just in case I missed it. Mathis, man, good to see you. And Magic Malangle, also great to see you as well. Wow, you guys are just popping in here. And there's Bernaldus. Hey, Bernaldus, good to see you. Okay. Now, I myself have had a busy weekend. I live in one of the areas where the tropical storm, hurricane, it keeps going back and forth, but of what they're calling it, might be hitting. So we've been preparing for that. And naturally, being the worrywart I am, I just went outside and lit the smoker and grilled today because, that's me. I don't worry. But we did also have to make sure we had the staples and everything just in case it got bad. I honestly don't think it'll get too bad. I'll be surprised if the electric even flickers. But we will see. And I don't know how sensitive the mic is, but we have some cicadas that are just making a racket outside tonight. It's beautiful. So if the microphone picks that up, I'm sorry, but that's what that noise is. It is really turning into a full party in here, which I like. That means I should get lots of good questions tonight, lots of them. And we had a lot of good comments on Friday's Research and Ramblings, where we talked about self-mastery. And of course, that trailed off into many other questions, which was great to hear. Well, good. If you can't hear them at the moment, odds are they're not going to get loud enough for you to hear them. Did anybody bring the beer? Well, I got quite a bit of beer in the other room in there, along with mead and other things. And I'm working on setting a bar up right over there. So, yeah. Got to put a bar in the downstairs office. Goals in life. Yes, mead is wonderful stuff. It is good stuff. And I am kicking around what idea I want to do with the kind of survival style videos because I was surprised how many people Friday actually liked the idea of that one. So of those type of getting outdoor videos with the Magickal channel, which I mean they do tie in well. I agree. Every man needs a good bar. We really do. Ladies, you also need bars too. Bars are great. Ooh, what you bottling tonight, Malango? I got a multi-berry that's sitting in the fermenter. I'm deciding if I just want to drink it from the fermenter, or if I want to bother with bottling it. Yeah, I'm wanting to shoot some actual ritual videos and everything outside and do some magic videos outside. But I'm also wanting to teach some outdoor skills because it amazes me how many practitioners want to go out in nature, want to work in nature, want to go hiking in nature, but they don't have any skills for being out there if they get caught in storms overnight, even camping. Um, and that just boggles my mind. And it's to me, where I grew up, it just seemed like a logical step, but there's so many who don't know it, and I've had so many requests for that kind of stuff. So I'm actually wanting to share a few of those little skills on the channel with people, give you an idea of how you can easily get out there and start camping, very low cost, impact kind of things, and the skill sets that really help out in a pinch. Because I actually had one person, they emailed me and told me that they went hiking. They took a 5-hour hike into the woods to do a ritual. And they sat down, they set up to do the ritual. And then by the time the ritual was over, it was so dark they couldn't find their way out. And they were just stuck in the woods. They couldn't really navigate, they couldn't build a fire or anything. Luckily, someone noticed they were missing and actually came out with flashlights and stuff and got them out of the woods that night. But that's the kind of situations some of us practitioners can get ourselves in because we do want to get out in the woods. We want to do those kind of workings, but we get so focused in on the occult magic. What we find is the neat stuff that we forget about those basic skills that would really help you in the woods. See, Thorn, I totally agree with you, and that was my thought process. But I pitched it during research and ramblings. But I was still surprised how many people was like gun ho on that concept. So yeah, we're definitely going to be getting some of those videos started. Well, I feel that we can up your skill level all the same. We can up your skill level all the same. It's great to know these skills anyway. Jacob, can any dragon make contact? Yeah, there's no rule. I mean, if a dragon wants to reach out and say hi, you really can't stop it. That's it is possible. Now, some of the higher rulers are less likely to reach out because their energy pattern in and of itself can be disruptive to a new practitioner. So they would have to reach out in a way if they were going to that would dim their energy almost to non-existence because take, for example, Primordia or Zergaroth. The energy patterns that surround those two rulers are so drastically changing that a new practitioner entering into magic would not be ready for the dramatic shifts that those energy patterns would bring just because the dragon was in your presence. So it's very unlikely that those dragons would reach out in any large, tangible way outside maybe a voice in your head that's kind of guiding to get onto the draconic path or something. Um, but there's nothing that says they can't reach out to you in some way, though they would try and do so in a way that is safer. Because they're not going, they know their energy is going to cause those changes, and they wouldn't want to basically throw you in a blender, as it were. That said, though, if you're already starting on the path and you're blindly or obviously ignoring very specific messages, eventually the memo will reach one of these dragons, and they may come in with a ball bat and smack you with it, energetically speaking, to get you moving because you're refusing to. That, in my experience, has been the biggest danger in magic, is people willingly refuse to progress, and the universe is like, no, you're going to study, we're going to get you moving, even if we have to throw you out of the plane to get you moving. And the higher rulers, if they have to reach out to you, that's generally the problem. So that's not something you want to look forward to. Oh, Lord. Halloween, which birds can mean multiple things? I'll be honest, I can't think of a single bird that means a single thing. Almost every bird I've encountered, depending on the viewpoint, the tradition, and the interpretation, the birds can mean so many, many different things. I know growing up, a blackbird, whether it be just a blackbird, a crow, a raven, that was viewed as an ill omen if it flew into your house. By a lot of the Appalachian superstitions. But at the same time, you could cross the street, and that family could have a tradition where the raven or the crow was a blessing of some kind. And then, of course, ravens and crows, they're definitely tied to knowledge, magic, mystery, even messages from beyond, like your ancestors reaching out to talk with you, those kinds of things. So it's really hard to sometimes nail down what these birds might be, what the meaning of it might be for you. And you do kind of got to meditate on it. You got to do your research. You got to find the different meanings and pay attention to the emotional energy that was put off when you saw it in many cases. Now, that said, if you work with an entity that's known to work with those birds, whatever that bird may be, like a falcon, if you start seeing falcons all the time and you work within the Norse pantheon, you know falcons are highly, highly tied to Freya and Frigg, actually. So, which I know a lot of people say they're the same goddess, and I won't get into that debate, but the bird is still associated with both of them. So you would know to look in those directions as well. Sorry for the long, convoluted answer on that. This is true, Bernal. It's those random little bits of knowledge that can save your life. It really is. I remember when I was living in Washington State, I don't think I met anyone that knew how to change a tire. And the amount of people who got stranded for 2 or 3 days in certain parts of Washington because they didn't know how to change a tire. There's so many little bits of knowledge that we take for granted. We really do. And for any viewer on here, if you don't know how to change your tire, go out in your car. There should be a book in there, user manual. Take a peek at that. And if you need to, go ask your mechanic to help teach you how to do it if you don't have a family member who can. Because seriously, if you're driving, you need to know how to change a tire. Cloud, that's actually a wonderful question, man. And yeah, the Fae and other entities love gardens, and they will happily hang around them, whether you work with them or not. There's this opinion that these entities require us to work with magic before they'll reach out to us. And that's not really the case. These entities are around 24/7, whether you work with magic or not. And there's plenty of farmers out there who have no interest in magic. And different entities, whether it be earth dragons or fae or the like, even elves, will actually take interest in their gardens or their crops and help them out, or just hang out because they enjoy the energy of the land in that area. So yeah, I mean, I would guarantee that there are fae hanging around there because any well kept garden I've found tends to have fae in it, which is a beautiful thing. Hello, Fatima. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. Um, Fatima, what you need to do first is you need to reach out to what's referred to as a guardian dragon. It will not be a familiar in the concept of a familiar that most people use the term. It's familiars aren't as independent as what this dragon will be. And there is a video on guardian dragons on the channel that also talks about how you can reach out and contact your guardian dragon. And there's even a guided meditation on the channel for reaching out and meeting your guardian dragon. That would be the first thing you need to do. And if that's the only dragon you want to meet, that will do it. That dragon will work to help you in your magics. It will help to protect you. It will also help to teach you. And you need to find your guardian before you reach out to a co-magician dragon if you're interested in that. I appreciate it. I'm glad I got it right, and I'm also glad you don't mind if I mispronounce it. I mispronounce names on here all the time. Yeah, plants themselves have spirits too. That's a very good point. There's tree spirits and plant spirits, even rock spirits. Um, so that can actually take an effect to that as well. That is very true. Thank you, Thorn. Hey, we all start somewhere, Fatima. We really do. Don't never be afraid to ask questions. That's one reason I got this channel up and running, so we can actually get that knowledge out there. There's an older episode on Magical Coffee Hour where we discuss familiars a little bit, so you can actually see the difference in what a guardian dragon and a familiar is. Because dragons themselves don't do the familiar thing, but you can do the guardian dragon, which in some people's mind is a better thing in some ways. But that would be the old format where I had a co-host and she was asking questions. But definitely go back and check that episode out too. There is a lot of videos on this channel, so you should be able to find a lot of info. We got more coming constantly. Captain Ghost, hey man, welcome. I am doing pretty good. I am. I really am. It's been a pretty good week. Busy and crazy, but a good week. Honestly, can't complain by and large. Almost ran out of coffee. Almost. It was about a day out before I was going to run out of coffee. Luckily, my order came in time, so we're good now. We might have had issues if I actually ran out of coffee. So, but luckily we didn't. It's okay. It's okay. Crisis averted. So, and I'll make sure the order's placed sooner this next time around so I don't run into the same problem. The mail's still running slow due to this year's topsy-turviness. So, forgot to calculate that in. My bad. Okay. So, all right. Anybody got any other questions? I need Linda and her random music. I miss Linda. Okay, so one thing I was actually wanting to talk about a little bit today that I've gotten a few different questions on. Oh, well, there you go. All right, Halloween. Best uses for music and art in Magic. Well, Cara, definitely bring them. That's why we're here is to answer questions. I mean, I usually prepare a topic or two in case there's a dull point, but I prefer to answer your all's questions. But music and art are actually fascinating areas in Magic Halloween. In fact, they don't get enough credit. And when you research Norse magic, you would think they would show up more there because Odin himself is a god of poetry. And when you look into the Norse culture, their poetry and their music was tied together. And even the runic arts themselves, there's this entire tradition of engraving and carving. Um, so, yeah, music is often used to help create a vibration and that vibrational change in the area you're in. If you've ever We've all done it. We've all been in a mood and are in a funk, and we kick on that stereo and we listen to the music, and that music actually changes the feel in the room. Or you've walked into a dance or a party and the music's already playing, and that room is alive with a natural vibration and energy that the music is creating. And this is the same thing if you stand in front of even an acoustic guitar, you can feel that vibration coming off of the acoustics or any instrument for that matter. And you can feel a genuine energy from that vibration. And you can utilize that in your magic to create that change, whether it be empowering your magic or the environment around you to help cleanse the area around you, those kinds of things. These are excellent, excellent uses of the music. Now, you can also use music. You can, like, if you can't write music, you can pick a song that has music that has the feel for the spell work you're doing, and then you can write the spell around the pre-existing music and interweave them together to use that vibration to carry that spell out further. Um, and art itself, you can actually utilize it to create idols or images of entities you want to work with. You can paint sigils because the added attention you're putting into the sigil work can add further power to it. You can even actually put power and magic into portraits and stuff that you're going to hang around your home and artwork you're going to keep so that it acts as a permanent spell that keeps pushing that effect into your home. I actually know a lot of people who do this with wards and shields throughout their house. They're artists, so a bunch of their artwork is where their wards and yields or wards and shields are tied into. Great question, Cara. And the word Monte comes from DJ Conway's work. And in fact, I've never actually heard the dragons themselves use it. But in her works, she keeps changing the meaning of that word. So if you look at her final book, the final book, um, then it comes to mean teacher. So Monte essentially ends up meaning teacher, whereas guardian dragon is a very specific role that they're not necessarily in the teaching role. They're more into just the looking after you role, and they're learning about you just as much as you're learning about them. But they do help you in your magic. They help add their power and strength to your magic. And they do even teach you to some level, though they're not really viewed as a teacher amongst dragons, even though you will learn from them. It's inevitable. Um, and then your co-magician is your true singular. That's like your primary teacher, no matter what other dragons you're working with. Your co-magician would fill that role as your main teacher. Even when you take lessons from another dragon, even if it's one of the rulers, when you're working on it yourself, your co-magician is going to be rerunning those lessons through and helping advise you to improve on that. So the Monte term ends up just becoming a term to mean teacher, very similar to the word sensei. And it's been thrown around so much, and even in Conway's works, like I said, she changes it so much. And I've never, in my years of working with dragons, ever heard them use it. In fact, the one time I used it, my co-magician actually kind of cocked his head sideways and was like, "What are you doing?" So I really never even use it anymore. But yeah, your guardian dragon is more of kind of a spirit guide sort of role, even though it does differ. Whereas your co-magician or your Monte is your main primary teacher. If that makes sense. I hope I didn't get you too confused. Yeah, there are a lot of people who have been trying to figure out different notes for different chakras. The big thing there is not everyone agrees on what note correlates to what chakra. So when it comes to music and magic and chakras, my big thing is to find out and experiment and find out what notes your chakras actually resonate with. Because the biggest thing that we've noticed is every person responds differently to different frequencies and vibrations. This is why some people actually respond better to certain types of music over others. So, if you're going to use music to work with your chakras, there's a lot of self experimentation and study that needs to go on there to make sure you are getting it tuned in, so to speak, specifically for you. Fatima, yes, when you meet your guardian dragon, you should be able to see them if you have your arcane sight trained up. You will still need your arcane sight trained up. You have to be able to open your arcane sight in order to view them. That's one reason I do tell people to construct an astral sanctum. I don't care what magical path you are on, because the building of that sanctum and working in it also allows you to work with all your arcane senses and develop them. And there is a video here on the channel about your arcane senses and some exercises to help you with those, as well as constructing an astral sanctum. Mother Phoenix, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Oh yeah, Malangle. I have heard many a dragons pulling that where it's like no, you call me sir, you call me ma'am. Yeah, and in which case that's what you do. That is what you do. Just show that respect and call them what they ask you to call them, and you should be squared away pretty well. I'm still waiting for one to ask me to use the Monte word. I really am. Let me see here. Aphatesia, is that where you can't visualize things in your mind? Am I remembering that word correctly? Um, because yeah, there are ways. The problem is people everybody always want to use the word visualization, see this, and that is the most common versions of it. Cool, man. I can't believe I remembered that word. Pat myself on the head for that one. So here's what you want to do. Now you don't need to visually be able to see these things in your mind exactly as everyone tries to explain them. We have many senses that we can use to interpret them. And if you work within what you're capable of, you're going to get success. So, for example, now most people, when you talk about wanting to, what it's like to see an entity in your mind's eye starting out or what it should look like, most people expect it to be like you're looking at a photograph in front of you. It rarely is that. In fact, even if you can visualize in your mind. And the example I always give is think of a happy memory for you, whatever it may be. For some people, it's a friend or family member. You think of that person, you close your eyes, and you just think of them. Don't try to visualize them or anything, just think of them. And the image that appears in your mind, that's 9 times out of 10 how you would start visualizing it. Okay, so let's say you can't visualize in your mind at all. Okay, still close your eyes, think of that person. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up things with your other senses, perhaps their cologne. Perhaps you're not going to see it, but you're going to remember their favorite outfit or colors. You're going to remember the emotional sensations that they gave you when they were around you. You may hear their favorite music or their voice, some way that that memory is going to present itself to you. That is how the information is being processed to you. Now, once you have that information, you know how that information is being processed, you can take that and apply that to your arcane senses in a way that when an entity presents itself, it's going to present through that exact information feed. Does that make sense? You may need to work on your hearing and your seeing. I don't know if the not being able to visualize due to that specific um, the aphasia would affect hearing. I've never heard of it affecting hearing, so you might still be able to train up your hearing. Um, but there's a lot of people who the only thing that they get is they can feel the energy and the emotional stuff coming through, and they leverage it through to do evocation in other works. Yeah, so during evocation works and stuff, you are getting your responses. In fact, below this video, there's a book down there called Demons of Magic. I forget the author's name, but one of the things I love about that book is he actually talks about how to know you're getting results and how to know these entities are around, even if you can't use your arcane sight or hearing. And that book, even if you don't want to work with demons, that section, that information, to me is invaluable. He's really one of the people who's explained it the best. But yeah, I'm actually I'll be honest with you, that's actually a topic I'm wanting to do more on and try and even do a video because I've been getting this a lot more and more. And I think we need to work on reaching out and helping people understand this better because too many people, I think, just fall onto the just visualize it in your mind. Well, what if you can't? Literally, what if you can't? And I've worked with a lot of students who can't. And it is possible. There's no area of magic that'll be cut off to you because of it. You just got to leverage the senses and the information and data input points that you do have. And that's why I still use that memory example because that will tell you what your information inputs will be. And you can train up your hearing, but start with what you got. Jesse, that's actually accurate. That is accurate. Yeah, that is accurate. It will work as a protective emblem in that case. Yes, you can actually utilize these steps for path working too. Um, just pay attention to the temperature changes in the room, the breezes that shouldn't be there, the sounds that shouldn't be there. In fact, one of the things that book talks about, he says, just think of it. If you can't see it, if you can't smell it, it doesn't matter. Just think of it. And just the thought enough will create the energy. And you just know that just creating that thought will do it. And you can actually work through that process with it. That's one of the reasons I recommend that book so much. Um, and I wish, I know there's a lot of people who's like, it's a demon book. I don't want to work with it. And I know demons have a bad vibe, which I disagree with, but the other information he teaches in there is just so valuable. I love it. So yeah. So it is totally possible. There's no areas you're cut off to because of that. Um, and I am going to try and do a video to try and clarify this up a bit more. So this is absolutely a great question. I love it. Um, and again, because I think too many people take certain things for granted, like the term visualization. Hell, most of the time we don't even actually describe what the hell we mean by visualization anymore. Um, no, great question. Great question. Kara, if you're hearing voices in your ears, generally speaking, your arcane hearing can open up so that things can be trying to communicate with you quite a bit. Or you could just be hearing beyond, which isn't too unusual. It's not. Yeah, that's him, Gordon Winterfield. That's the guy. That is the guy. Thank you. That is the guy. Great author. Uh, Fatima, I'm not 100% sure what the Ring of Lucifer is. I would have to look that one up. Lucifer, I've worked with him a few times. I enjoy working with him, but he's not a primary for me. He's really not. Um, so I'd have to look that one up for you. I really would. I know a sigil, but I don't know what Ring of Lucifer means. Trying to catch up on some of these here. Let's see. So, is it Carres Dangling? What's your question? And I apologize if I messed that name up. Carrie, maybe? Carrie? I've not worked with a Sophia that I'm aware of. Yeah, I mean, Lucifer bounces around. I mean, it's just all over the place. There's so many different theories and everything about him. So, I mean, he's definitely not the bad guys painted in Christianity. That's for sure. Cool. Okay, Carrie. Awesome. Thank you. I try to get the names as close as I can. I know my southern twang's going to throw most things off anyway, but I still try. That can be frustrating, Thorn. That hands down can be frustrating. Um, Best thing to do there is just let them destroy it. You might not be able to work with the circle itself, but sit, build an astral sanctum and put a mushroom circle in your sanctum if you want to work with it, and utilize that one. It will work just as good. For your time in the broom closet, that's going to be your best bet if they're going to continue to destroy them. Yeah, you'll find a lot of people who want to sell talismans and sigils and different jewelry. And, you know, ultimately, I'm of a mind never buy anything pre enchanted. In fact, if I do get something and I find it's pre enchanted, I always cleanse it. Need a little more coffee. But a sigil's a sigil. So if you do your research and you find out a piece of jewelry has the correct sigil you're wanting on it and you want to work with this entity and you know you want a permanent sigil, that's a great route to go. I rarely do the permanent sigils unless it's an entity I know is going to be a long term friend in my life. Um, Most of the time, I use disposable sigils where I just do it on paper. But I mean, there are definitely some gorgeous ones out there. Hey, young lion, good to see you. Glad you made it, man. Yeah, there's a lot of entities that have power to watch through different animals of the forest and the woods. Snakes themselves, I've seen them watch people, and they don't like to get close. More often than not, a snake's going to keep its distance if it has the option. Which, don't get me wrong, I like snakes, but you keep your distance, I keep my distance. Let's just respect each other here. But yeah, it's very likely that an entity of the area or the land was definitely keeping an eye on him, seeing why he's there. In fact, Fae can do that, as can land spirits. They can actually look through use an animal to watch a person in the area. Um, they tend to use birds more than snakes, though they do like snakes because snakes do have that stealthy ability. And they can sit very still for long periods of time if needed. So I'm not surprised he felt watched there. I've had that happen to me a lot. But one of the things I do when I go camping by myself is because I go pretty deep in the woods, I make sure to do a hailing rite that includes the land spirits and the nature spirits in the area to let them know that I'm here, I'm a friend, I want to work with them respectfully, which generally tends to shift the entire feeling of the campsite and makes it feel like you're at home. It feels so comfortable afterwards. What's the purpose of a familiar? Yeah, his pets could be keeping an eye on him at home. That's possible. That might be what you mean by that's the job of a familiar. And familiars do often keep eyes on you or eyes out. And not all familiars are physical. Remember that some are very spiritual entities. And I know there's this massive debate. Familiars can only be spiritual, but I honestly have genuinely seen both. So I don't try to get in the argument. um, but yeah, and even at home, there are plenty of fae that actually stay in houses and stuff with families. So you may get that feeling there. And nature spirits. There's plenty of nature spirits that actually come right up to a house and even look in the windows. And if you have living plants in your house, they can easily do that as well. Well, my big thing is don't let them. Don't let them. I know I don't look at, but actually, this is one of the things I got. I get some really weird emails from ladies. Flattering, flattering, but at the same time, yeah, it's one of those things. Just don't let them. I mean, I no one is coming between me and my wife ever. That's just the way that is. And any woman in my life, friend or not, has an issue with that. They can pack their bags and take a hike. That's magically speaking. Uh, I would do a simple banishing ritual or spell to banish any energy they might be sending his way to affect the marriage. Even something as simple as a candle spell, where he pushes all of his intent into, like, say, a black candle to banish their intent or energy of breaking up his marriage, and just light that into the candle, then light the candle, let it burn. That should do away with that. And you can always do a spell to just reaffirm your relationship and strengthen it as well. Well, I mean, he got to do what he's got to do. And I'll be honest, if you sent me porn and threats, I really wouldn't take you too seriously either. I'd probably just block you and be done with it. Um, I'm not an easy guy to threaten. Um, but yeah, most people who send stuff like that, I just ignore them. I really do. I don't blame him for that. He seems to be handling it about the best way he can. Because if you give them attention, they're going to hog it and just run with it. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right, Mother Phoenix. They can change. They can take on many, many forms, and no, they are not just for humans. I have seen pets that have actually been familiars. I have. That is one of the big debates. And I have seen pets that actually do end up as familiars, but it's not just a pet. That's the thing. Everyone, there's too many people who think, oh, look, I have a pet. This is my familiar. I wish it worked that way. I wish it was that easy. Life would be so much easier if it worked that way. Malango, I'm working on that spell. My wife, if she ever gets on to me about anything, it's that house cleaning spell. And no, I haven't figured that one out yet. Um, Even with the good relationship I have with the wee folks, they don't clean my house as much as I wish they did. What little things they help with, I'm very grateful for, and I'll never, be ungrateful for what they do to help. But no, I've not found one to do that because I would be using that spell all the time. And you can bet as soon as I figure it out, I will be sharing that because, yes, a house cleaning spell. Y'all know I'm not big on the Harry Potter stuff, but the one thing in that book series that always stood out to me that I wished I did have was Mrs. Weasley, how she had all like the house was all doing its own cleaning and stuff. Whatever spell that was, I want that spell. Yeah, Carrot, don't let anyone come between the friendship. They can try, just don't let them. You know that person, you know them deep down. I've had people try to do this with me and my friends, and it's one of those things where actually it's like 3 years ago. Someone actually tried to make me think one of my friends who I've known for like 10, 15 years, who's gone to bat for me and, well, even took a bullet for me. Um, was suddenly working against me, and it didn't benefit this person in any way, or it didn't benefit my friend or me in any way. The only person who would benefit was the one who was spinning the story. You'll have people do that kind of stuff. I don't know why they do that. People can be very petty. You just got to trust in that friendship, and that's why when you know that friend and you've got that friend and they're close and you know them, don't trust the gossip. Don't let people come in there. This is why communication is so important. When in doubt, just walk up and say, "Hey, this person's telling me we've been friends forever, so I'm just going to talk straight to you and let you know what's being said. We still square, right?" Works every time. Friendships, friendships last. Just communicate and trust in that friendship. When you've got those good, strong, deep friendships, hold them. My circle is small, but that small circle, I don't doubt those people at all. And I value those friendships more than money, seriously, because those are really what make life worth living. Now, yes, working your cleansing rituals in with your cleaning practice, that is a two birds with one stone thing. That does help. I took it to mean that, it's like a bippity boppity boo house clean. That's what I took it as. If I took that wrong, Malango, I'm sorry. But that's what I took it as because seriously, that's what I want. So anytime you mention cleaning spells, that's where my brain goes. Oh Lord, yeah, you got little ones. Cleaning gets even harder. Yeah, there's a few teeny tiny little fey dragons around the house today. Not sure who they are, or why they're hanging around, but they ain't causing trouble. Yeah, dragons can help with relationships, including your crush. Um, but again, free will is not something they're going to tamper with. So it's going to be, they're going to try and present you with opportunities to actually truly build the affection and relationship. They're not going to screw around with free will. Screwing around with free will always backfires, always. But they can work to help bring that crush into your life in a way that gives you the opportunities to make a move and perhaps pursue a genuine relationship. Or they can also help you to meet someone who will be that genuine friendship or relationship. Yeah, I mean that Mother Phoenix is right on that one. They're doing that because they're jealous. People see those good, solid friendships, and they get jealous. They really do, hands down. Can you? Well, yeah. I mean, you could make one with Soroth. Whether he would be the best for sports or not, I'm not 100% sure because I've only worked with him two, three times max, and it wasn't for long at all. It's more just information conversation. Um, but I mean, I don't want to say for sports specifically, but making a pact with him, yes. And knowing many of his physical attributes and his energy, I could see how that could be leveraged for sports. Um, but I would do my research and make sure he would be the best choice if that's the route you're going to go. And again, remember, pact work is advanced magic, so you could probably achieve the same thing through evocation, no pact required, and get your results a lot quicker that way. But it would be possible. No problem, Gary. That's why we're here. We got us a great community happening up in here. I'm really blessed with the viewers and how helpful and caring everyone is. Also, we do have a Discord. I know I don't mention it most of the time, but we do have a Discord. There's a link to it in the description below the video down there somewhere. Building up a great community over there as well. And I'm usually there most days to answer questions as well. So, yeah, great group of people popping in there as well. I got to say, I've been very blessed with my viewers and everything on this channel. No, dragons will not mess with free will. They won't. And that's the thing. Dragons are all about the balance. So they're straight down the middle. You won't find a left-hand dragon. Even if it appears to be a left-hand dragon, they're still going to be on that center line. And free will is one of the things they value most. Now, there are extreme circumstances where the balance itself is threatened. They might steer with free will in some minor ways, like to get someone off course from doing something stupid, but it's going to be temporary and minor at best, and it would have to be an extremely, extremely stupid thing. So just on the level of humans and what a magician's trying to accomplish, I can't think of a single scenario where they would tamper with free will at all. And when you're working with dragons, you got to be careful, because if you try to get them to go against that nature, it's going to backfire on you. It will backfire on you. They will see to it, because they're more about teaching you than just giving you what you want. So if you were to try and force your will over someone else's to take their free will, it's going to bite you in the ass. They're going to see to it. Those are the lessons hard learned. Discord is kind of like an online group where you go in and there's a lot of different chat rooms you can type in, and some voice chats also. I don't know if I'm doing a good job at describing it, but it's just you can build up a server or community. In Working Dragon Mystic, we've put a community together where everybody can chat and talk throughout the week, not just here in these live streams. Yeah, Fey is a massive term. It is actually probably the largest term that so many entities actually fall into what would be called the Fey realms. So it is such a massive term. It probably is the largest umbrella of entities that would fall under it. I'm actually a little surprised to hear an iPhone can't download it. Check your iStore. You might find the app there. I don't know technology. Y'all know this by now. I don't know technology. Well, we don't want you to lose YouTube. We got too much going on up in here. You got to keep up with the videos and stuff and the live streams. But if you do get your phone updated, pop in there. We'd love to see you. Okay, we are at the hour, so we need to start winding up here and taking the last of the questions. So while you're thinking of your last questions, um, so this week, Tuesday, we do have a new Dragon Magic video coming out. This one's actually going to be focused on the Draconic Ruler of Water, Coralegra. I know a lot of you have been excited to see her video, and it is finally coming out. So yay! That ruler seems to have a very large fandom started on this channel. I don't know what Cora did to get that fandom, but she definitely has earned herself a fandom on this channel. Not to say she don't deserve it. She is an awesome dragon to work with. And for someone in my Discord actually issued a art challenge recently about utilizing magic in art and different ways you can do it. Now, if you are looking for a new magical project, whether you're in the Discord or not, I would encourage you to think about ways that you could utilize your creativity and art to create either a portrait, a painting, a drawing, even music, actually, would be a great thing. And try and do that over the next week. And if you do, come next week for Magical Coffee Hour. If you're comfortable doing so, pop in here and share it with us. We'd love to hear about it. I always love to hear about what you guys got going on in your experiments and what you're trying out in your practice. So if you do it, go ahead and give that a shot and let us know about it. Yeah, Cora just seems to she's just awesome. She's like, I'm here. I'm awesome. But she is. She is. She is an awesome dragon to work with. Absolutely adore her. Honestly, a simple mirror spell or a black candle spell will work on like 80% of your witches that are doing that. Just a simple return to sender spell. They really do. They really do. And I know I've not been doing like the weekly challenges because they were mainly during the quarantine time and all that. But I am considering looking at possibly starting a monthly challenge of some kind because a lot of people seem to like those little challenges. Awesome, young Ryan. Glad to hear you signed up for the Arcane Psych class. Yes, and I'm glad you're enjoying it too. Thank you very much. Yeah, art is a beautiful format for magic. It really is. It does not get enough. Um, it really doesn't get enough credit or attention. One video I've been kicking around, I'm wanting to film. I just got to get out to the craft store to get the supplies for the video. Is actually how to do magic through painting, like energetic paintings and stuff like that. I've been wanting to do a video on. So I want to go out and get a canvas and some paints and stuff so that I can shoot the video and walk you through the concept and some of the ways that I do it. So you can expect to see some art magic videos coming. I'm not a good artist. I'm not. I barely can draw a stick figure. But like energetic paintings and stuff, I do enjoy doing. They're kind of fun. And I can at least do that to give you an idea of a starter point to where you can really expand that. So that's what I'm hoping to get done shortly. It won't be August. It might be September. I might try and get it up for September. All right. Okay, everyone. For those who have been asking, Linda, I'm still trying to get her back so we can go back to the original format. I'm going to be shooting her a message, seeing if she might have a theoretical ETA. If not, I'm just going to have to hang my hat on we don't know and wait until she can get back with me because I don't want to pester her every week, but we all miss her. I miss her. So I will be checking on that. But you can guarantee that the magical coffee hour will continue on Sundays, even if it's just my crazy old mug up in here on a solo. Okay. Now, with that, y'all have a wonderful weekend, or well, I guess the week's over. So, well, have a good week. I know Monday's never fun for most people. Mine's usually rough too. If you are in the areas where the tropical storms or hurricanes are going to be hitting, stay safe. Don't do something too stupid. Well, try not to do something stupid, but do stay safe. We'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button down there. It helps the channel out a lot. I know it says I have 19 likes and 28 people in here. So definitely hit the like button. It helps the channel out. It basically tells YouTube people do like the content we're creating, and that tells them to share it to more people. And that helps us to get this information out to more seekers, more people wanting to learn magic and master their lives. Okay. I appreciate it. I appreciate all that you do for the channel to help us out here. And I appreciate your questions. Y'all are great. Until next week, stay caffeinated, people, as Linda would say. Take it easy.